Good morning, sports fans from all around the globe. I am your host, Jeff Dawson, and this is East Coast Sports Investors Breakfast Bankroll for Sunday, February 20th, 2022. 8 days left in this month as we creep closer to March Madness Conference Championships, cutting the nets down, hopefully the first pitch of MLB, and that closer to the Masters. I was actually talking to someone a couple days ago that lives about 2 hours away from the Masters, and they asked how hard was it to get tickets. And what I said very simply is this: I get an application every year to apply, and what you do is you apply for 2 tickets Monday through Sunday, and it's a draw. It's a blind lottery. And then 4 months later, I get a thank you, Mr. Dawson. We're so sorry to tell you, you did not get tickets this year. So I always say, tongue in cheek, death, taxes, and the email from the Masters. But without me going and spewing, because I do have a few things to say today before we start, I'm going to bring on our co-host. So he can listen and he can chime in as well. So without further ado, the man from the Palm Tree State himself, the one, the only, Mr. Scott E. Webb. Good morning, Scotty.
Morning, Mr. Jeffrey. Sounds like you had an interesting evening last night.
And that's where we're going to begin. On our show yesterday, I think I probably broke down 8 games. And off the top of my head, I honestly can tell you, I think we went 6-2. What we do for the VIP family is we break down the card in segments. There was 130 something plus games. There was hockey. I didn't get into the NBA. I won't get into the NBA today. But so what we did yesterday is we sent out 3 games at around noon. And that would have got us to 6 o'clock games. And then we sent 2 other games out, one at 7 and one was at 10. And where I really want to start here, Scott, is I said the 2 headliners, meaning the big overnight, big moves on Friday into Saturday, was Illinois and Texas. Illinois went from +1 to -2, 2.5. Texas went from -1 to -3.5. We released Texas, and they played grab ass the whole time, and they lose. The game that really stuck out the most to me later in the day was why was Davidson opened up 1-point favorites against St. Louis. Now, Davidson is the public darling. They are a freight train. Everyone loves them. But why they open up -1? Got pushed, steamed, whatever you want to say, all the way to -3, closed at -1. Boxed wide. So now our afternoon card is relying on Brown to stop the bleeding. It's all over my timeline. Okay. Brown was up 12 right before the half. They give up 5-0 to end it. They're up 7 at half. Well, Penn says not so quick, and midway through the second half goes on a 25-5 run, so the game's over. Well, Brown battles all the way back, takes an 88-87 lead with 3 seconds left. Winner, winner, chicken dinner, right? Go check my timeline, guys. Pass, guy just drives, throws it up, and scores with 0.4 seconds left. Down goes Brown, 0-3. Now I'm seething. You heard me all the way from Cape Cod. The whole Twitter world heard me all the way from Cape Cod. Send out now, again, I've been talking now for 10 days, Scotty. Edmonton, new coach, undefeated. Yesterday, they opened up -125, reverse line movement, and boatloads of money coming in on Winnipeg. So I respected it. I'm like, okay, the streak ends. Edmonton, winner. Now I'm seething. I got Leafs puck line down 2-0, tie it 2-2. down 3-2, tied 3-3. Now the under/over in game is 9, and the Leafs are minus 250. So I'm like, okay, we got a good shot here. Get outscored 3-0 in the third period. Thanks for playing. So now we're 0-4. We got Stanford to save the day. I went back this morning and checked my records. We're in our 7th year, Scotty. I have never, ever gone 0-5 in one day. Never. Not to say I haven't had 5-game losing streaks. I've never gone 0-5 in one day. We got Stanford. Stanford jumps out 15-6. I'm breathing a little easier. Colorado, 15-2 run. Stanford answers, takes a 3-point lead at half. Okay. Stanford gets out 5-7 in the second half. Then here comes Colorado. It's grab ass. Stanford has a 45-44 lead with about 6 minutes to go. Colorado on a 25-5 run. Thanks for playing. So moral to the story is this, is we started the day 7-5-1 and up about 1.5 units, 1.7. We closed the day 0-5, now down 3.28 units.
Well, that happens. And it doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter how special we think we are or how goddamn smart we think we are. Stuff happens. What's good about it is it don't have to happen today. And the other part that's good about it is that's now recent history. So I look at that and look at that as to say, okay, we're ripe for a progression. We got to get over that average hump number now. So we're probably sitting on some pretty good stuff today. So a couple of things here. One, there was a plan and a strategy in place at the beginning of the day, and that didn't change or waver throughout the day. And that's what you want. Of course, the plan didn't necessarily work out the way you wanted it to work out. So, okay, a big deal. Today's another day. And I don't mean that in disrespect. So don't take that the wrong way for anybody who played the plays or yourself when you're down the money. The truth of the matter is these things hurt. That's why there's feelings involved in that. And then that's why there's emotions that get in here, because there's money involved and they hurt. That said, I am nonplussed to any of that stuff at this point. I made so many wagers. Big wagers, small wagers, little wagers, big way, whatever they are. It's just a wager. And if you win, you win. And if you lose, you lose. It's great because you know what? This whole thing is about what you're going to be like at the end of the month, at the end of the year. Can you still pay your mortgage? Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you go take your wife out for a nice dinner? Can you do a dress? Can you get it? There's a couple of things that I can say in my life that's really pretty cool. Number one, my wife has a wedding ring that's more like an anniversary style ring on her finger that I paid for my winnings of gambling. And I can look at that every single day, and she knows where she got it from. That's number one. Number two, my latest dog that I have, his name is Axel. He is a full-blood German Shepherd, long-haired dog. And he is bought and paid for by gambling rings. I really wanted to name him something other than Axel. I wanted it to be a gambling term, but I couldn't get that one past my wife. But my point being is, these are things that I can look back on and I can go, you know what? This shit's been real good to me. There's a lot of reasons why I do this. The number one reason why I do it is not the money. It's the satisfaction that I put a program together. I did what I did, and I outsmarted, outthought, outdid the gambling line, and I won. And that's what I want to do. That's why I do this every day. That's why I get up and I go, I want to win. That's what I want to do. I want to win and be smarter than why that line is the way it is. That's what I do. And I don't ever lose sight of that. And I know that there are people that follow my plays. And I know there are people that pick and do the stuff. And I feel really, really, really bad. Trust me, I feel sick when I lose people's money. because that's not what I'm here to do. But that being said, you can't, I don't care who you are. You're not going to be able to make me feel bad, because I do this for different reasons. And I do this and I have a good time doing it. And I do enjoy the idea, Jeff, that the plan you put forth was the plan you stayed with. There are ways and means to fix that if you wanted to get involved in trying to not necessarily change your plan, but have a we're going to have to get into it probably at this point, some point in time down the road, some countermeasures, some buyout options, and some things when we start looking at stuff that are into in-game and things like that, and how to use that for I don't want to call them the action junkies, but the guys that are going to try to protect their numbers, and we can get into some of that stuff. And I don't want to tell you that that's not part of a plan if you make it part of a plan. But if it's not part of your plan, then don't do it.
Well, a perfect example there is you're staring at an 0-3 day already, and the Leafs are 3-3 going after the second intermission. So you literally have about 12 minutes there to make a decision. The Leafs were minus 250. You could have got the Blues plus 200. Now the counter to that is we had the puck line. So if you put 100 or you put a half unit on the Blues and the Leafs only win by 1, well, you've gone deeper again into that hole. We've talked at length, and we are going to be doing some live streaming on Twitch, talking about in-game, actually watching games where we have investments on these games, and some games that we don't have investments on that you do see an opportunity to, maybe dabble quarters and halves, or however we decide to break that down. And I think what stings here is the most about it, Scott, is the fact that I had 5-6 winners easily that I talked about on the show yesterday, number one. Number two, as I'm playing the rest of the day out, for example, like late at night, UNLV, who were 15-point underdogs at Colorado State, them outright by 15. Now they came back home. Colorado State opened 2.5, gets pushed, steamed, whatever, to 4.5, 5. UNLV again goes box to wire. It was the same resume as I talked about Florida and Auburn. I clearly stated here, since Auburn was number 1, now they're number 2. They played 2 games on the road, double-digit favorites, and they won by 1 and 2. Florida was a live dog. They went outright. And so when there's 125, 130 games, you can't play the whole board. You can talk the whole board out, but you're not going to get involved in 15, 20 games. That's one. Number two, we are in our 7th year. And I will tell you this, anyone that has been here as long as us, as long as myself, that has got 7 years of documented plays by a paid accountant, every one of these plays, and is still fired up and pissed off and wears his heart on his sleeve as I am after thousands and thousands of games, that shows something right there. I don't just wake up in the morning, click my heels, and throw out shit, darts, whatever you want to say, and hope that it sticks. As you can see, I slept last night. I got up early this morning. I've already combed this board up and down, and I'm still fired up.
Well, again, I think that there's a lot of things in play here, right? So here's a strategy that can work, and here's something to think about: is when and I get it, we're going over the board and saying, hey, this is what we see, and we handicap the game like you handicap the game based on the numbers there, and then you got an idea or a feeling of what it is that you want to do. And a lot of times these things come through because that's what you see and that's what you look at every single day. So there's a thought here that says, okay, let's write these plays down. And as these games get started, if they're going the way that we thought they were going to go, let's go ahead and wager on them because you can. And you can get into these in-game situations and you can do these things that sometimes are going to countermeasure and offset your normal plan. And that doesn't mean that you have to go in game and go crazy and bet a lot of money. It just means that you got to play it and see how it kind of comes out and what comes out in the wash. And you might not get the best line because the scenario is that it's in game and your team that you want to play for is up or it's doing pretty well or playing halfway decent. But the idea is that these games are winning. And if they're winning and just by looking at what the numbers are, you got to play them out. So, and again, nothing crazy here, but I'm looking at right here on my screen to my right is first 5 money line, first 5 over unders, and first 5s on the run line for last year. That's what I got sitting right here. And I'm sitting here going in game. Look at this, look at that, look at this, look at that, because some of this stuff that you talk about, the Atlanta Braves. You talk about the Atlanta Braves. And what's interesting about that team is overall they were 78 and 54 on the run line with 22 pushes. Or not run line, money line with 22 pushes, right? So you get your money back. You're doing pretty well in those scenarios. Now, granted, on the money line, they're going to be favorites. So you got to win a lot to make some money. So you're only plus almost 7 units in that spot. But I'll take 7 units. But if you played them on the run line, they're 101 in 72. That ain't so damn bad if they're covering those minus a half a runs on the run line, right? I mean, so those are different strategies, different things to look at. But, you can look at all kinds of stuff. You take the Red Sox, they're only 68 and 63 in the first 5 innings. And on the run line, they're 89 and 83. So they're not really making any money, probably actually losing money. But that tends to tell you that how they won their games. They won a lot of comeback games. They won a lot of games in the late innings, and they scored a lot of runs. So they kept playing is what happened. Those guys kept playing, and they didn't have the pitching to get them to the point where they needed to go. That's kind of what happens. But the teams that can pitch, their first 5 monsters. Their first 5 monsters. And the teams that can pitch and hit, oh my God, their first 5, they're just Goliaths in the game. But just having an idea of that paired with what's going on in the game, so you can get to where you need to go. I wrote an article yesterday about scoring in baseball and how it's done, and you don't move runners over anymore, and why you don't move runners over anymore. And the number one thing is base runners. I can tell you that to the face is blue and all that stuff. And that's why WAR is a good statistic. WO, weighted on base average, on base percentage, all that stuff has got way more important now than just even a strikeout, because a strikeout is just an out. You need to get on base. So guys that can get on base via a walk, oh my God, that is a huge thing. And that's where guys like Joey Gallo are important. Say, for example, a guy strikes out 8 million times, but he gets on base a lot and hits home runs a lot. So that just a lot of variance in how the game is played and what's going on and what's happening. So that if you're actually doing an in-game wager and your team hasn't scored, but they're getting on base and they're going through the lineup some, they're getting 6-7 guys up to bat. They just couldn't get them in. I guarantee you they're gonna, because that pitcher's getting worn out and they're gonna score these runs. So then you want to be betting on these teams because that's where your edges are.
And there's someone on the Twittersville, big platform, blue check mark, that was doing a lot of late inning team total in games where for instance, let's just say pre-flop, this team was 4.5, and they haven't scored through 5, they haven't scored through 6. Well, you get to the top of the 7th and their in-game total was like a half run, and you bet the over, and then of course they scratch a run or something out. But again, there are so many options, so many variables.
But it's got to be part of the plan. You can't just half-ass put it together and expect to do well.
No, and that's the problem with in-game. I have talked till I'm blue in the face. I've told everyone a bunch of war stories from friends, from colleagues, from investors with ECSI that have gotten caught up in the end game. And I'm just telling you the bottom line, guys. It looks prettier from the outside than it actually is on the inside. And you got people that are only showing you the one winning ticket, and they're not showing you the 5, 6, 7 losses. So as you said, it always comes to strategy and game plan.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the most funny thing about in-game betting strategy is you want your team that you think is going to do well to start off bad. That's what you want, because if they start off bad, you're going to get a better number. And when you get a better number than what the opening line was or what the closing line was, holy shit, you're just like a pig in shit. So you just gotta play it out. You gotta make sure that it's the right way to do things and it fits the strategy that you want. And it's just all about how you put it together, because there's so many ways and there's so many different things that you can do, and you can save yourself. And we need to teach people a little bit about how to do that if their plan goes sour, if they have a secondary plan.
Team Durant, Team LeBron. Team LeBron opened up at 5.5, now 5.5, and under over, where the computer model says 321. Opened at 320.5, it's been steamed to 324. There's even a 324.5 at Circa. I'm just going to throw this out there. You see anything here that's even worth
all I'm going to tell you at this point is, like the baseball all-star game, this all-star game, many of these all-star games, the football thing, I'm not interested. It's fake. It's a, how do I say it? It's an exhibition. It's not a game. So these guys are just going to go out and do their thing and throw the ball up and whatever. It's not like there's any incentives here. So I'm not interested in any way, shape, or form. But I can tell you, pregame's got $183,000 bet on this game, which is not necessarily a huge amount, to be honest. But at the same time, 89% of the bets are on LeBron's team in terms of cash, and 79% of the money is on the over. So if you're trying to talk about going over 324, that's they're going to have to score 80 points every period, 40 and 40 to get there. And you know what? In a game where nobody's going to, why can't they? They could probably score 400 if they wanted to. But the only, and I'll just say it this way, the only exhibition games I like to bet on are the NFL ones. And the only reason I like to bet the NFL ones is because head coaches actually have agendas. And if you can figure out what the agendas are for the head coaches, you got an edge. Major League Baseball, because I've been in those dugouts, I've been in those scenarios. There is no plan or strategy to win the game. There isn't. So anybody that sits here and tells you that they got an edge on a Major League Baseball game in preseason, you can tell them to go smoke dope or do whatever it is and stick it wherever, because they don't. That they're just going to assume that this starting pitcher's got this other team's number. And of course, you got to remember, he's only going to pitch 2 innings. So what the hell does that matter? Oh, well, they got all this guys and this guy's. No, they don't. You don't even know who's going to pitch. So be real careful what you listen to with these games that are put on for exhibition purposes. Major League Baseball has different reasons why teams do certain things. The NFL has head coaches that are trying to do different things. In this all-star games, nobody cares. Nobody even wants to play. So it's a showcase of all the best players, but nobody wants to see them play in patsy-ass games.
The college hoops today, not a big slate, some interesting games. I'll quickly go through a few of these that have got my eye. Wright State at Detroit, rotation number 819, 820. Wright opened at 1, now 1.5. I'm showing 50% of the bets, 80% of the money on Wright State, Scott.
Well, it's interesting. This is the smallest bet game. It's only 29,000 of the ones going off here at 1 o'clock ish. 51% of the money's on Detroit, 76% of the tickets on Wright State.
Line went from 1 to 1.5. Detroit's not good. I just stay away because your marquee game at 1 o'clock, there's two of them. Rotation number 821, 822, Michigan at Wisconsin. Wisconsin opens at 2.5. Still at 2.5. It is 3 at DraftKings. 74% of the bets, 56% of the money on the Badgers of Wisconsin.
This one's got 83,000. It's the second largest bet game of the morning here. 72% of the bets, 72% of the money, 72% of the tickets on Wisconsin.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you this, guys. Michigan has caught their stride. They're starting to win now. It seems like Juwan's got the boys playing in the right direction. This Wisconsin team lost last Saturday at home to Rutgers. They bounced back during the week. I'm just saying up front here, this is a Michigan number. Now, what you want to do with this Michigan plus 2.5, buy the hook to 3, grab them plus 122 on the money line, whatever. Anyone going to the window bet in Wisconsin, I see it. They're at home. They usually don't lose 2 in a row at home. I think they're a game behind Purdue, and Purdue's got Rutgers, and Rutgers is on a roll, but it's at Purdue, and we'll get to that game. But I'm just telling you up front, this is a Michigan number, just like the next game. 823, 824, Providence at Butler. Providence opened at 3.5, still at 3.5 at Circa and Westgate. Our friends at South Point has pushed it to 4. I'm showing 82% of the bets, 88% of the money on Providence.
Yeah, 127 on this one, Jeff. $127,000 so far. 83% of the bets, 88% of the tickets on Providence.
Again, guys, this is a Butler number. I'm not saying Ed Cooley and Providence are not going to win this game. They're coming off that loss to Nova this week. They got Nova next Saturday I think it's next Saturday because Nova's got UConn on Tuesday, and then I think they host Providence on Saturday. That will be for the regular season title. And again, I'm not saying Ed Cooley and company will be looking ahead. I'm just telling you, this number opened up as a Butler number. Just beware of their Fearful and Iona. No, Houston, it's just a wagon. They did get picked off not too long ago by Memphis, but they bounced back. Kelvin Sampson's just done an amazing job. Rotation number 827, 828. Houston opens up at 7, still a flat 7 at Wichita State. Again, I think now look at the two games I just talked about. Michigan at Wisconsin, 2.5. Providence at Butler, 3.5. Well, Houston opened up at 7. They're trying to grab as much shocker money as they can. 59% of the bets, 70% of the money on Houston, and the line hasn't moved yet either.
Yeah, 63,000 on this game, Jeff. 75% of the money, 81% of the tickets on Houston.
Yeah, I'm staying away. I think Houston wins, and I'll just leave it at that there. Missouri State at Northern Iowa, 829, 830 on your rotation number. Northern Iowa opens up at 2, 1.5 at Westgate. 64% of the bets, 55% of the money coming in on Missouri State.
Yeah, 26,000 on this one, so it's pretty far down the line. 74% of the money and 76% of the tickets on Missouri State.
Rotation number 841, 842, Temple at Cincinnati. Way back in the day, this was a hell of a game. Two teams, not the same quality that they used to be. 841, 842 on your rotation. Cincinnati opens up at 6, now 7. 58% of the bets, 66% of the money on Cincinnati.
Yeah, $20,000 on this one so far, and 71% of the money and 78% of the tickets on Cincinnati.
This one's an eye-opener. It was a correction. I always respect the corrections. Keeping this one, guys. Rotation number 847, 848, Northern Kentucky at Oakland. A game that opened at 7, now 4.5. and I'm showing 50% of the bets, 72% of the money on Northern Kentucky.
Well, this one's really interesting because there's only $10,000 bet on it, so hardly anybody's played it yet, and the numbers moved a lot. So 67% of the money's on Northern Kentucky. So I guess if I'm reading this board, there's a certain somebody who probably put that $10,000 on that game. Anyway, 60% of the tickets are on Oakland.
Yeah, keep an eye on Northern Kentucky, plus the 4.5. You might be able to get 5. You can probably get around plus 165, 170 on that money line as well. Memphis at SMU. Penny's, since his meltdown on the presser, telling him, do you know who I am? Do you know how hard I work? The team hasn't lost. If it has, it's only lost 1 game. They open up 2.5-point favorites, now 3 at SMU. Good game here. But I respect the opening number here. 61% of the bets, 72% of the money on Penny Hardaway and the Memphis Tigers.
Showing 22,000 on this game so far. 53% of the money on SMU, 51% of the tickets on Memphis.
Again, I know a lot of people will be on SMU, home dog here, home cooking. You just, again, if you bet Memphis, just stay close to that game early. You'll know which team showed up. They're a Jekyll and Hyde. They're playing way, way better now. They're finishing games. They're coming out. They're playing strong. If you're on their side and they're playing grab ass and they're down 4, 5, 6, you might have caught them in one of those we don't care days. So just keep an eye on that one. Rotation number 855, 856. Rutgers at Purdue. Rutgers just steamrolling, and Purdue, of course, leading the Pac-10, the Big Ten right now. Opened at 12.5, now 12 at circa, 12.5 across the rest of the Vegas Strip. 72% of the bets, 58% of the money on the Scarlet Knights of Rutgers.
Yeah, 54,000. So this is the big game so far of the afternoon. 62% of the bets, money-wise, are on Purdue. 63% of the tickets on Rutgers.
I don't have a say. I mean, Rutgers is playing great. Purdue at home is a wagon. I think that's a popcorn game. Grab your pom-poms. At 8 o'clock, this one smells stench. It's one of the last games of the week. I think they're begging you to take Mississippi State here, a Missouri team that's real, real bad. It just smells to me. Mississippi State, opens up at 4.5, 5 at DraftKings, 69% of the bets, 68% of the tickets. 69% of the bets, 68% of the money on Mississippi State. And I just wanted to go over their records for everyone. 15-11 versus 10-16.
Yeah, this isn't drawing much action so far, Jeff. Only $6,800. 69% of the money is on Mississippi State. 72% of the tickets on Mississippi State.
Right. Just trying to pull up the hockey here. Carolina at Pittsburgh will be a 105 start. It's a national TV game. The Penguins open up at 140, now minus 123, showing 68% of the bets are on Carolina, yet 67% of the money is on Pittsburgh. Most people will grab the value on Carolina here, catching plus money, but I think that the Pens will probably prevail and be pretty dangerous here.
Yeah, 28,000 on this game. It's the highest bet game so far of the day. 68% of the money on Pittsburgh, 56% of the tickets on Carolina.
All right, and I've been talking about it, undefeated since they've had their new coach. Minnesota is at Edmonton. We had Edmonton in this spot at Minnesota earlier, and we won the game. Rotation number 13-14 and 8:05 start. I'm just going to say by the opening number and where this is going, I think everyone thinks the streak's going to stop. And I've talked at length about this. Why get in front of a winning streak? And we talk about it at length at baseball. If a team loses 6 in a row, well, they can lose 7 in a row. If a team wins 5, 6, 7 in a row, they can win 8 in a row. Here, what do you have for numbers on this game?
Currently, it is the second to lowest total bet, but that's probably because it's late. $9,800, 58% of the money, 62% of the tickets on Minnesota.
Yeah, so they're saying the streak stops today, guys. They're saying basically that Minnesota is going to bounce back on a little rematch revenge spot and stop the streak. I'm just going to say, buyer beware. This Edmonton team, since they've got their new coach, isn't winning 7-6, 8-7. They're actually playing defense now, and they're still scoring, which makes a deadly, deadly combination. And the last hockey game, Vegas at San Jose, Vegas opens up minus 165, now minus 158 at Circa.
Yeah, this one's interesting. $6,300 so far. It's the lowest one. 97% of the money, 97% of the tickets on Vegas.
Yet the line went from 165 to 158, so buyer beware there. Check my timeline for the Daytona. I'm not going to break it through. I've reached out to a handful of my colleagues out west and see what's going on over there. Scotty, any closing thoughts?
Yeah, I mean it's Sunday. For me, I've been working on baseball and not getting into the NBA break here. And I noticed I saw an advertisement this morning that I guess the Olympics is getting ready to end today or something. So I got to be honest, I didn't hardly watch any of that. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm okay with the NBA. You know how I feel about college basketball. I'm good with the tournament. I like the tournament. That part of it's pretty fun. But I'm dying for baseball to get started, Jeff, and these guys to get this thing under the things. And latest reports that I've heard is all the owners, I shouldn't say all of them, the majority of owners that want to make this thing happen are flying in. They're going to have every single day meetings, and they're going to be there until they work it out next week. And next week should be the end.
Yeah, we've been saying that all along. I've had a handful of talks with you behind the scenes. I talked about the fact that, we have a few irons in that fire with some colleagues, friends, and sources, actual lawyers involved in this. And they've said all along this will be taken care of by March 1st. The whole intentions on both sides, they were going to miss a few weeks of spring training. Oh, well, so be it. The players are already been told to get it ramped up. We talked about the videos of guys throwing 99, 100 already. So when you get to training, be ready to get in there, throw us 3 innings. And I feel March 31st will be opening day. I'm sticking to it. They're not going to push anything back a week or 2 weeks. We will have baseball at the end of the month of March like they expected. And I am excited as well, but we'll keep an eyes and ears on that. Everyone watching, listening, thank you. Thank you. Another week wrapped up here at East Coast Sports Investors. If you haven't already, could you do us a favor? Just run over to YouTube at East Coast Sports Investors. Hit the subscribe button, smash the like button. And if you are a Twitch subscriber or follower, you can do the same at East Coast Sports Investors there. It's Sunday. It's family day. And we like to say over here at ECSI, Sunday fun day. I'll be releasing our action parlay. Hopefully cash for 5, 6, 7 units, whatever we come up with today. Might sprinkle a little something on take a swing at the Daytona, maybe a top 3. We'll see there. But always remember this. When wagering, always wager and invest responsibly. If you have a problem, there's an 800 number available. Call it. Pick up the phone. Ask for help. Why? Myself and Scott here. We'd like to see you here today, tomorrow, next week, next month, through 2022 and beyond. From myself, Jeff Dawson at EC Sports Invest, from my co-host, partner in crime, Mr. Scott E. Levitt, 20 MLB. We wish everyone a blessed day. Enjoy yourself. Enjoy the family. Get outside. Have some fun. We will see you both next week.